Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sam. If you are not new, thank you so much for coming back. As always, I appreciate you more than words can say. In the past 2 weeks, we have heard from Awakend that they have brought on a new president to the company. And that president's name is Justin Rose. If you missed my video that was all about the Real Housewives of MLM, I believe he was the first one that I actually talked about in that video. His wife, Whitney Rose, is part of the cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, I did hear rumors that they were not renewing the season, but when I searched on Google, it did say that it was renewed for another season. I thought that Justin coming on as the president of Awakend was very interesting because of the way that Awakend has been promoting themselves and touting how amazing they are and bragging about Zenith. If you're not familiar with Awakend, they are a super cringy MLM company, which is a multi-level marketing company or network marketing or social marketing, however you want to put it. So they had originally launched last year with their weight loss pill, Zenith, and there was a lot of controversy around that and around it being a stolen formula or an alleged stolen formula. So that's how they started. And then the pill that they were selling to people, the Zenith, was not dissolving. So people were pooping out the pill. They had to reformulate it, and now they're trying to say that that was the beta round, and now they are officially launching, and it's all fixed. People were having to cut open the capsule and put it in yogurt. Supposedly, that is not the case anymore. But right now, that is the only product they have. Now, I have a little hunch about where Justin is going to take this company, but first, let's kind of break down who he is and how this all came about. So in a PR Newswire article that was posted on March 20th, 2023, it stated that Awakend is thrilled to announce that direct selling industry veteran Justin Rose has been named president of the company. A highly sought after, accomplished executive, Justin has amassed an impressive career spanning 3 decades, leading multi-billion-dollar companies with some of the most recognized names in the industry. Having most recently served as Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at LifeVantage, Justin has also held senior sales and marketing roles at Melaleuca, Nu Skin, Usana, Shaklee, and Aveda. So if you missed it, I did touch on that a little bit more in my Real Housewives of Anti-MLM video. So I'll link that in the description if you want to go and check that out. But we are going to touch on each of these positions a little bit in a few minutes. Okay, so then this article goes on to say Rodney James, founder and chief executive officer of Awakend, commented, "We are honored to have someone of Justin's caliber and tremendous track record of experience join our movement at Awakend. A seasoned and highly talented executive, Justin's leadership complements both the corporate side and the field in equal measure. His understanding of building a strong foundation that's able to pivot as needed to encourage large-scale growth is unparalleled. Justin's business acumen, out-of-the-box thinking, and impressive history make him the clear choice for Awakend." Likewise, Justin had been searching for a company that offered an alignment in values and the opportunity to create an impactful global move. In other words, he was fired from LifeVantage, which we're going to get into. So then he says, "To say that I'm excited to be part of Awakend would be an understatement. After meeting the owners and understanding their vision of what being awakened truly means and how simple it is to join the community, paired with a business model that supports potential for exponential growth, I quickly saw that this company is incredibly unique and unmatched in the industry. I'm excited to work hand in hand with the amazing field leaders and corporate team as together we build a billion-dollar brand that awakens people all over the world to the greatness within themselves." Justin Rose. So that was the article that came out when they had officially announced that Justin Rose was coming on as the president of Awakend. So if we go to Justin's LinkedIn profile, it says that he is a C-level executive in the direct selling industry. His bio on his LinkedIn starts out with how he was in baseball. It's so bizarre. So it says, Justin Rose made his debut at the young age of 12 in the Little League World Series. From the Little League field to the sales field, Justin has carved a career building some of the most successful sales and marketing programs in the direct selling industry. From sales development to field training and support, he's driven by helping distributors reach their potential, a philosophy that usually involves one-on-one support and spending time in the field creating the type of incentives and promotions that drive growth. In short, he's the exact leader sales teams want on their side. Justin received a BA in International Relations, Business Management from Brigham Young University. Now, if you look at his work history, you'll see how extensively he has been inside of MLM since he graduated college. So his first stint was with Nu Skin, and he was with Nu Skin from January 1989 to January of 1994. So 5 years. His position was the marketing services manager. From there, in March of 1994, he went over to Aveda. His position in Aveda was to set up a network marketing channel for Aveda, and it was under the name Intelligent Nutrients. Now, I mentioned this in my previous video that I have looked up this branch of Aveda, and it is not looking like it is a network marketing company. So I don't know if that ended when he left or what really happened there, but I'm grateful for that because there are some Aveda products that I do like. He was there from March 1994 to January of 1996. From there, he moved on to Melaleuca. In Melaleuca, he was the director of sales for the Southwest region, and he stayed in that position from September 1996 to January of 1999. In February of 1999, he moved on over to Usana. This is a network marketing company that I don't really hear a whole lot about, so eventually I do want to do a deep dive on them. But when he was there from February 1999 to January of 2000, he was the executive director of sales. When he left there, he went back to Nu Skin. So he was in Nu Skin as the general manager from April 2000 to January 2003. It says that he was also the president of the North American branch of Nu Skin from April 2000 to May of 2010, but I'm gonna say that it's safe to assume that he was actually president from January 2003 to May 2010. And then he finally did leave Nu Skin for good in 2010. From Nu Skin, he moved over to Shaklee in 2011 to July of 2015. At Shaklee, he was the senior vice president. Once he left that position, he moved finally to LifeVantage. At LifeVantage, from July of 2015 to March of 2022, he was the chief sales officer. And then from September of 2020 to March of 2022, he was the chief sales and marketing officer. And at that point, he was fired. They played the whole thing out on The Real Housewives. So we're going to touch on that a little bit more after we go through a couple of other things first. Once he was fired from LifeVantage, he was unemployed from March of 2022 to March of 2023. And I'm pretty sure that during that time, there was a lot of filming for The Real Housewives going on. So I think that was taking up a lot of his time. But now that that season is over, he has decided to start working again and bringing home some money. So he's joined Awakend as of March of 2023 as the president. So we're going to see where this goes. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to go back in time for a minute and we're going to talk about a lawsuit that came against LifeVantage when Justin was still working there. So this lawsuit came about in 2018 and it was against LifeVantage for, surprise, surprise, being a pyramid scheme. So I'm not going to go through the whole lawsuit, but just like any of my other deep dives or any video where I have sources that I refer to, everything is linked in the description if you want to go and look at it in its entirety. So in the introduction of this lawsuit, it says that plaintiff paid LifeVantage Corporation over $1,000 to participate in the company's supposed business opportunity. However, The business opportunity was merely a pyramid scheme designed to only make money for LifeVantage and a few top promoters at the expense of plaintiff and people like him. Plaintiff brings the action to recover the money he lost as a LifeVantage distributor, an individual who paid LifeVantage for the right to work and participate in LifeVantage's business model. Darren Jensen, Justin Rose, and Ryan Goodwin, collectively the individual defendants, and with LifeVantage the defendants, are LifeVantage's principals. They are jointly and severally liable with LifeVantage for perpetuating a pyramid scheme. This should probably come as no surprise, but it was interesting to see how much of a role Justin had to play in this. So the lawsuit goes on to say, LifeVantage is nothing more than a pyramid scheme dressed up as a multi-level marketer of dietary supplements. LifeVantage induces people to become distributors with sales pitches promising wealth and business independence. And its marketing and compensation system encourages its distributors to recruit others into the system with the same promises of wealth and business independence. Distributors pay money to participate in the business opportunity, which funds LifeVantage's payments and bonuses to other distributors. Despite LifeVantage's claims of retail sales, little money comes into the system from actual retail users of LifeVantage products disconnected from the business opportunity. The majority of its retail sales are monthly sales to its distributors purchasing product in order to participate in the compensation system and remain eligible to receive bonuses. Distributors really can only make money by bringing in new distributors, a classic pyramid scheme. Isn't that the truth? Before we go over the next part of the lawsuit that I wanted to touch on, if you're not familiar with LifeVantage, they are known for, it's another wellness MLM. They talk about anti-aging a lot, so that is primarily what they're based on. So I wanted to give you that little bit of background before I go over what we're going to talk about here, and why I also think they went after Justin to come on to the Awakend team. So LifeVantage must operate as a pyramid scheme to turn a profit because its products, some of which are falsely advertised as remedies for various diseases, are snake oil and have no real medicinal or nutritional value. On its website, LifeVantage promotes itself as a wellness and personal care company founded on science-based health and skincare products. Its leading and most heavily promoted product is called Protanidum. While LifeVantage touts Protanidum's uniqueness, it is nothing more than a scientific-sounding brand name. It is not FDA approved and thus falls into the unregulated marketplace of homeopathic or natural remedies. In other words, Protandim, sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong. Somebody will yell at me in the comments as usual. Protandim is just another product similar to all the other trendy vitamins and supplements available on retail shelves, which are offered at a much lower price. Thus, LifeVantage must offer something more than just its product to make money. That something more is the false hope of financial prosperity through LifeVantage's MLM opportunity, i.e., participation in an illegal pyramid scheme disguised as a legitimate business opportunity. I wanted to read this part because if you're not sitting there thinking, wow, that sounds a lot like Awakend and Zenith, then you probably haven't heard of Awakend. So once you learn more about Awakend and Zenith, or now that you have that information, you can likely see the link between LifeVantage, Awakend, and Justin Rose and how they're all going to be a match made in pure hell. So Justin was specifically named in this lawsuit a few more times. Defendant Justin Rose is an individual believed to reside in Utah. Rose is the chief sales officer at LifeVantage. Rose also has several years of experience in the multi-level marketing industry, holding positions with companies including Shaklee, New Skin, and Melaleuca before joining LifeVantage in July 2015. Rose is actively involved in promoting the LifeVantage scheme to potential recruits at LifeVantage events through social media and by his direction of LifeVantage's top promoters. It also said that in addition to making false claims regarding the financial prosperity distributors may attain, defendants make false claims regarding the lawful nature of LifeVantage's scheme. For example, defendant Rose has gone to great lengths to assure distributors that LifeVantage is different than other MLMs found to be pyramid schemes, like VEMA. Additionally, the company in its Form 10-K recognizes that recruiting-based compensation plans in MLM companies are illegal. Direct selling activities are regulated by the FTC as well as various federal, state, and local government agencies in the United States and foreign countries. These laws and regulations are generally intended to prevent fraudulent or deceptive schemes, often referred to as pyramid schemes, which compensate participants primarily for recruiting additional participants without significant emphasis on product sales. The laws and regulations often require us or our distributors to register with governmental agencies, impose caps on the amount of commissions we can pay, impose reporting requirements, and require that we ensure, among other things, that our distributors maintain levels of product sales to qualify to receive commissions, and that our distributors are being compensated primarily for sales of products and not primarily for recruiting additional participants. Which is interesting to me that MLMs exist, because if this is really being enforced and lawsuits are really being brought upon these MLMs, like going off topic of Justin for a second, then why, how? It's so clear. It's so clear. Eventually they're going to be gone. Someday in my fantasy world. In this part here, they said each of the defendants named in this count and others have committed one or more overt acts to achieve or further the unlawful objects and purpose of the pyramid scheme detailed herein. They include the following: Darren Jensen, Justin Rose, Ryan Goodwin, serving as one of the principals and directors of the pyramid scheme, creating and or approving the creating of the compensation plan, which pays primarily for recruiting, creating and or approving disseminating promotional materials, videos, and public appearances at LifeVantage events and trainings, entering into contractual agreements and or making deals with professional distributors to lend the scheme an air of legitimacy to the LifeVantage business and to pay them bonuses or incentives as an inducement to further the expansion of the scheme. That was just a quick overview of the lawsuit. Unfortunately, and I only say unfortunately because I think that this could have been a good learning lesson and way for Justin to get out of MLMs. But unfortunately, his name was taken off of this lawsuit. And that also surprises me because I also found this video of him, and let's just watch. It's a very short video clip. It's about 1 minute.
And I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things we're doing at LifeVantage to protect your business. As soon as we heard that there was an investigation into VEMA, Darren Jensen immediately went to our legal department, who then reached out to 2 separate industry legal teams to find out how would we have done had this search been done on LifeVantage. And I'm going to see. Yeah, you can clap for that. A few of the changes that you're going to see starting in the month of December is that all product orders that are from your preferred customers and retail customers will be able to allow you to participate fully in the compensation plan. All right? So what does that mean? That means, wait, I don't have to place a personal order? Well, no, you don't have to place a personal order, but who wouldn't place a personal order? These are the best products on the planet, right? So you actually can participate in the bonus, in the compensation plan fully with preferred customer and retail customer.
So if you're not familiar with what happened with Vima, they were also one of the health and wellness MLM companies out there. They got shut down in 2015 for illegally running a pyramid scheme. Surprise, surprise. So when that happened, LifeVantage immediately was like, uh-oh, we better fix our compensation plan. So that is what Justin was talking about on the stage. So I just like, and that's just one of the videos. There are many videos out there that they had referred to in the lawsuit that are no longer public. Anyway, that doesn't really matter anymore. He was on the lawsuit. I think he was rightfully on the lawsuit, but he has since been removed. I sort of wonder if he was removed because he was fired, which we're going to get into now. Let's talk about why he was fired. So on March 9th, 2022, Justin made a public Facebook post announcing his separation from LifeVantage. And this is what it said. They say, as one door closes, another door opens. But does the first door really need to close completely? Obviously not, Justin. Don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to see what's behind the next door, and just from the first glimpse, it does continue to get better. And I do believe as one door closes, it's absolutely the time and place to slam it shut on the haters, toxic, and undeserving people in your life. But that's what the block button is for, right? And if you're reading this, I don't consider you one of those people. So back to the door that is closing. I guess I don't believe we live in a world anymore that the door needs to be completely closed. In today's world, we are all very connected, and you choose me or I choose you to be on this platform together, which means I believe you are one of the good ones, which means I will always be cheering for you and your success no matter where it might come from. So be passionate about what you do and stay true to yourself, and I will continue to be your biggest fan. Thank you for the time you've given me to be a part of your journey to this point, and here's to those who choose to continue our journey together moving forward. I write this with tears in my eyes as I will truly miss so much about these past 7 years. They have been some of the best years of my life, but have no doubt I will always support, uplift, edify, and in the end, choose my family first. So why was he fired? Was it because he was promoting a pyramid scheme? No. No, it was not, but I'm so glad you asked that question because I'm ready to tell you. Supposedly, what they say, what's out in the press and out in the world, is that he was fired because of some scenes that were filmed on The Real Housewives. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mormon faith, they are very conservative. A lot of MLM companies are built on the Mormon faith. So they won't swear, they don't like all of the rules that are in the Mormon religion are also inside of whatever MLM company they are running. LifeVantage is known to be run by people of Mormon faith. So when Justin went on the show with Whitney, it was a big issue with the company, apparently. I have one quick video to kind of get a better idea of what all went on.
He said how much he appreciated the work I had done. But with Whitney being a public figure, I just didn't see how we were going to be able to make this continue to work.
Really?
While it is usually the Housewives who bring the drama on Bravo, Whitney's husband this week had an unfortunate reveal that he had to share with Whit.
He just looked at me like in shock, and he just said, well, I was just fired.
And even though he has been with the company for a while, they both were saying he sort of started to see the writing on the wall with all this for particular reasons.
I knew that there was rumblings and I knew that there was talk, but the conversation itself was still a pretty big shock.
And the main reason this is dramatic for Whitney is because the company seems to kind of be pointing their fingers at her being their number one reason for letting him go.
This is everything to do with them shaming me for what kind of woman I am.
On top of that, she may know the root cause of why they are so up in arms about all this, and it dates back to when they painted by numbers, we'll call it.
It is normal to want to be intimate with your husband. It feels like that final straw was when we did the Love is Art.
So yeah, unfortunately, the reality of this reality TV show is settling in for them, and I'm curious to see how they handle it in the upcoming weeks, on top of all the other drama going down in Salt Lake, because this season,
Like we've lost like your income. Just got real.
So you may be thinking like, really, Whitney, get a grip. You're on the Real Housewives. You are the breadwinner now, blah, blah, blah. And I would agree with you. But from what I understand, he was making quite a bit of money. And she has been busy like building her own brand and her own business, which we're actually going to touch on in a minute here also. Judging by what is out there in public, as far as how much housewives do get paid, I would say that whatever Whitney gets paid, especially with her being a newer housewife on a newer franchise, isn't enough to keep up with the lifestyle they have. It's certainly enough to live off of, but to keep up with their lifestyle, her income alone likely isn't enough. So that's why it was such a big deal to them, and it was like, we just lost your income. Now, Andy Cohen asked Whitney on Watch What Happens Live how she felt about Justin losing his job. And this is what she had to say.
Number one question for you tonight was, how did it make you feel when your husband was fired because you were on the show?
Yeah, I felt very shameful, guilty, and it was really hard for me to not feel that. But now I feel like it was the best thing that's happened to us.
But interesting.
Yeah.
Are you wondering now why she thinks it's the best thing that's happened to them? Let me tell you why. Here's my theory, friends. Whitney is now the full owner of her first business called Wild Rose Beauty. She is also part owner of a jewelry company called Prism. Not only does she have her husband's help in those businesses before he was hired on in Awakend, but they also announced when they went last month in February of 2023 to be the keynote speakers at Direct Selling Leadership and Compliance Summit to talk about their new direct selling venture, Wild Rose Beauty. Okay, I have so many versions of where this is going to go. First of all, if you have access to any kind of recording to this keynote speech, I would love it if you anonymously or non-anonymously sent it my way. My email is in the description. I was searching for it for a while. I don't know if they did a virtual version or if they even have a recording of this, but I would love to see what they said in that keynote. Beyond that, I had originally thought with Wild Rose Beauty, I included it in my original video with the Real Housewives of MLMs. And I went through Wild Rose Beauty to make sure that they weren't setting up some kind of MLM thing. They weren't. They had an affiliate program and that was it. So far, that still is how it is now. But apparently their plans are to turn it into a network marketing company. My theory is they're going to merge Awakend and Wild Rose Beauty because it makes sense. It does. So if you look at Awakend, they have their weight loss pill, right? They're talking about, in my last video that I reacted to their challenge Zoom call, they're talking about supplements and all of those things. Why wouldn't you roll skincare into that too? It is a good business decision aside from it being an MLM. So I truly think that over the next year, they are going to start expanding in Awakend and adding the supplements and things that they mentioned, which are going to be terrible. We all know that. Look at what happened with Zenith. But then they're going to try and roll in Wild Rose Beauty. This is only my opinion. This is my opinion of what is going to happen in the next year or two. I also think that they brought Justin on because of the level of exposure he gets through the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Sure, they may not allow him to show these things as they're filming because that you just can't. Like, that's probably in their contract that they can't advertise things like that on the show. But all you have to do is Google him to find out where he works. And so many, I am one of them, so many Real Housewives fans will fall down the rabbit hole of searching all of these people, all of the husbands, all of the kids, and seeing like, what do they do behind the scenes? What really happens in their real life? So I have a theory that that's why they went with Justin as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Danelle Meoli made some kind of appearance on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That would not surprise me as a friend of a cast member. So curious to see how all of this plays out. I don't know. Let me know your feelings in the comments below. Let me know if you are mind blown by all of the things that wrap up into this partnership with Justin being the new president of Awakend. How do you think it's going to play out? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I would love to know. If you made it this far in this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I am pushing so hard to get to 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully that will happen soon. And I would love it if you would hang out with me more while I talk to this camera like it's my best friend, because that's what I love to do. In the meantime, go and check out this video next, because if you liked this one, I think you'll like that one too, and I will see you over there.